My
We are
mind
here.
sounds nice. Check one.
I don't know that reference.
Oh God.
I'm usually on the references, but I don't get it
It's
this
like
time.
my mic sounds nice. Check one. My mic sounds nice.
Check
Check
two.
two. Oh,
Okay.
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 Got it, you
I
got it.
just used context clues. Like I knew mic one, check, mic check one, mic check two. I do know that. Yeah.
Not necessarily a three. Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've never seen us go to three. It's like mic check 1 2 1 2, and if you hear three, you know who it is.
Is that how it goes? Okay. Get back into the circus, ladies and gentlemen.
That was an inside joke for those who get it.
If you've been here long enough, you might catch that.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Though I barely catch that. It's very early in the morning.
It's very early. It's very early. But we do this for you guys. So.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we starting off real calm, but it's going to turn up really fast.
It really is.
Because I am Jason Andre Roberts, a.k.a. Conquest, and she is...
Ari and Aparicio, a.k.a. Coach Aparicio.
Okay, that's what we're doing right now. Coach Aparicio.
Yes.
Well, Coach Aparicio and Conquest welcomes you to your DeProgrammed podcast because we are back. We took a little bit of a break, semi-unintentional break. We've been away for a while. We figured 3 episodes could hold you down for a bit, but now the time has come, and we are back to your regularly scheduled
DeProgramming. He's getting ready for his album, ladies and gentlemen. That was a test.
Hey, listen. You know,
that was a mic check.
That was a mic check, man. Maybe you know that's me working out with my vocal coach. I do not have a vocal coach.
Nor does he need one. His voice is great.
Can always improve, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Well, speaking of that, man, because I do want to get into like really quickly what we've been up to since we've been away, you know, and actually, Coach Aparicio, let's start with you first, man. I mean, like, you know, last time I think we were on here, we made it known that you had a website coming, that you have life coaching happening, and yes. I'm just curious as far as like how that journey has been so far.
It's been a blessing. It's been
because we might need some life coaching for certain people that we're going to talk about very soon. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure you're up to speed. You're good to go.
I think this is divine. This is divine timing. This is divine timing. So with the title change also comes the episode where, we might need to coach some of these people. But the journey has been, I'm at a loss for words. I don't think words could describe how great it's been. We finally finished the website.
Nice.
We have done a speaking engagement since then. So everything is on the up and up. Clients coming in the door, questions being answered, social media popping, as they say.
Right.
I'm not in that age anymore, but it's a word I grew up with, so it's a word I'm going to use. And then, it's just everything's just been exciting so far. And I'm looking forward to what the future holds for our coaching and and the places we're going to go, the people we're going to meet.
Right.
I'm ready. We just came back from Georgia. Georgia was great. Did some coaching out there.
Okay.
Just spontaneous coaching. Just met people at the airport and they were asking me questions. We was going back and forth. And it's just amazing how much complexity there are to people. And then finding the similarities through those complexities, I think makes it really, really fun for me. So I look forward to seeing how much more all people have in common as like we travel around and stuff.
Finding the common thread through complexity.
Yes. You're going to put that in a song.
I was
you're going to put that on my line. Yes, absolutely.
Find the common thread through complexity.
Yes, I love that. And then... and then the website's finally finished and it's a shorter URL for people who thought already aligned by design was way too long. It's AA by D.
AA by D.
5 letters, yeah.
That's
so AAByD.com.
End the story. AAByD.
Acronym, already aligned. The only word that's spelled out is by in the design.
AAByD.
AAByD. So everyone was just like, man, she's going to have to shorten that. Web designer told me that. Angel, yes, thank you.
You don't get no shorter than that, honestly.
AABD would have been the shortest one, and someone took it already. So,
so AAByD.com.
Yes. And look forward to seeing you guys over there. Yeah, it's going to be such a great time. It's going to be so fun. Getting ready for workshops and panels. So you guys will see me around.
Nice.
Yes.
So
what about you, sir?
Man.
I know you put me on the hot seat with a lot of my moves, but I know for a fact you've been moving around.
I've been definitely trying to, and making every effort to take advantage of every opportunity. As you guys know from past episodes, the Who Wanna Rap Now series has really become a life unto itself, to the point that it is a mixtape that I'm working on that will be out on May 16th. I've compiled enough freestyles, enough content for it to be a full body of work that's in mixtape format. So it's me rapping over my peers' instrumentals, people that's in the industry, that's made music that we all know and love. I've done my reinterpretations of that. As a sidebar, I've done like special a cappella versions of songs that I've done, whether it's my original song or verses for other people's songs. I don't know if that will be on the mixtape per se, but I feel like that's just extra content that leads back to what will eventually be the mixtape. So really excited about that. And I feel like doing it has been really great in the sense of just getting my pen sharp and alive, for the fact that I'm in the midst of making Aratas, a Radical Interruption, the original soundtrack, the new album that I'll be dropping in 2025. Because I haven't really been writing super consistently in 2024 because of stuff that was going on. But once the new year hit, I knew I had to hit the ground running, and I was aching to do it. We've had those conversations privately, and I was just like, man, it's just frustrating that I can't get into a studio and I can't do what I want to do, or how I feel like it's giving and how it's coming to me. And since that damn broke, I feel like on an absolute tear, and it feels great. And I feel like God's really been speaking to me through those moments.
Yeah.
So that's the mixtape. But then we now have a mixtape release concert that's going down on May 17th on a Saturday in the Bronx. So for those who follow me on social media, you guys know that part, right? So this is what you do know, because I'm about to make an announcement. What you do know is that it is a mixtape release concert for Who Wanna Rap Now Volume 1. It is a Mission Field award show, in the sense that I'm giving my flowers in physical statues to people who I feel have impacted the culture in the New York City area when it comes to like Christian music independently. So I want to do that, whether they were promoters, MCs, whatever the case may be. I just want to start giving my flowers to every big show that I do, right? So there's that. There's the 50th birthday celebration of mine, because I didn't get a chance to celebrate my birthday on January 9th. So I pushed it all the way back to May, and I want to do a whole big shindig for that. So those are the things you do know. What you don't know is that the show will also be live podcast featuring myself and Coach Aparicio. We are doing a live podcast segment in the show, right? Yes. So it's 4 things: concert, award show, birthday celebration, live podcast. And we will be interviewing those who receive Mission Field Awards on that night. So that's the part that y'all didn't know. So as this episode airs, obviously there'll be a separate little ISO announcement of that. But yeah, if you're watching this, you're now knowing that, hey, your DeProgrammed podcast will be live at the Who Wanna Rap Now Volume 1 mixtape concert Mission Field Awards, presented by yours truly, Conquest. And I could get into more, but I feel like that's the most important things right now. Again, anything that you want to see I'm doing, anything that you want to see me doing, youtube.com/conquest2819, instagram.com/radical-on-fire. That's it.
I told you all that he had a lot going on. So again, it was an unintentional break, but we've been on the move. We've been running around, but making sure that we produce better content. We have better equipment now. We have mics.
You know what I'm saying? We got extra lights in
Extra
here.
lights,
I hope we shining. You know what I'm saying?
We are upping, and God and the Most High has been extremely
Gracious with
just
us.
gracious, and just really shows us that we're on the right trajectory. So we have been just upping quality, upping production, upping events and movements, and it's just been amazing. So again, we did not mean to go missing from you guys, but we are now back. So we're going to get into this episode because we had a long time discussing what this episode would be about, coming back into it.
Yeah.
And something dropped last week to where we were just like, out of everything that's happening in the world, this needs to be talked about. Yeah. This is it. This is the thing that needs to be talked about right now.
To be honest with y'all, it's going to tie into everything else. You know me, I'm the king of segues. So I'm going to find a way to tie from this to this to this to this to this, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, speaking of blank.
Yeah. You know
tie in something else.
Yeah, because it's all relative. It's the common thread through complexity. You know?
Just gonna put it on the shirt. We have certain lines. We're just going to start putting on shirts.
Absolutely.
Merchandise coming soon.
Now, to be honest with y'all, right? I've wanted to talk about this for a while. Yes. Because this particular thing happens at least twice a year, right? So we missed the window to talk about it on the last go round, but we were perfect for this go round because we needed a starting point, right? We would just want to come on here and shoot the breeze, but we got to shoot the breeze about something because that's how we shoot the breeze. It's like, hey, did you hear about, did you see, did you witness? Boom. So anybody with a Netflix account, right? And if you are a fan of relationship shows, shows about love, shows about romance, shows about two people coming together and finding each other, then you must be thinking Netflix and those attributes. I could be not talking about anything else other than Love is Blind, right? Now, I got put on to Love is Blind back in the day by a significant other. And I was like, that's an interesting premise, right? So for those who've never watched Love is Blind, I don't know how many of you exist that have never watched it, but, you know, not everybody's necessarily into that. But let me give you all a premise. Love is Blind is when you get about 18 people and you take them to some secluded location. You put them up in this secluded location, and it's at least 9 men, 9 women who are now put in a kind of speed dating. Well, not really speed, but you got at least 2 weeks to date each other. All of y'all are dating each other. It's like all 9 people are dating all 9 women and vice versa, but you don't see each other the whole time. You're in pods. You don't see each other. You're talking through a wall. You're gathering information through a wall. You're making bonds through a wall. You are coming together behind the wall. You know, we're at the Game of Thrones, behind the wall, right? And then after a while, certain connections become more obvious than others, because even in the show, you'll see a bunch of people there, but you'll notice that they'll end up focusing on maybe 4 to 5 couples or 4 to 5 or maybe 10 people or whatever the case may be. I can't do the math right now, but not everybody gets a shot.
No, that math was correct.
Yeah, everybody kind of like almost becomes like side characters. Yes. Like some of the people almost come in, they're almost like, well, I'm not finding love here, but I'm gonna help my man out or I'm gonna help my sis out to get to where they're trying to get because they're obviously making a connection with somebody, right? And then after a while, it's whittled down, and then you find that one, you know, your first choice, whoever it is, and then you end up proposing to them. With the expectation that they would say yes most of the times. I've never seen, you know what I've never seen? I don't think I've ever seen somebody propose and somebody behind the wall said no.
Yes.
Has that happened?
I don't believe so. I remember that there was a couple that came out to where you could see the disdain on her face, but she also did not say no. But even continuing off of that, so the couples come, the man obviously proposes. He gets down on one knee. The woman says yes. Like we said, I don't remember in my recent memory someone saying no to that. Mm-hmm. And then they go to this bench where they basically are seeing each other for the first time. Right. And it's similar to this. And then they're talking, and some of them get more intimate, and some of them are just in shock, and some of them you can see the immediate disconnect from when they see that person, which is almost the irony of saying love is blind. By the time that they see someone, they're just like, maybe not. Maybe it's not blind. Maybe it's.
I see it now. Nah.
I see clearly more than ever, right? They don't. Yes, because we know that after they do the proposal, they then get taken away to vacation, and it's basically the honeymoon phase. So the honeymoon phase, Netflix goes in, and they go everywhere. Turks and Caicos, and I think this one was. I think they went to Bahamas, then they went to Honduras. Yeah. So Netflix, we all know, had the money. So they take the couples and they shoot them straight out to paradise, right? Which is where most of the couples stay together, right? Because it's vacation, right? So I've seen some breakups. Yes. One that actually led to that person finding the person they were supposed to be with. Yeah, I remember that one. That's when the two couples didn't get along, and then the people who broke up got together. Yes, I remember that. I think it was season 6, maybe season 5, season 6. One of that. So they go to the honeymoon phase 2 weeks in. Like we said before, most people stay together. Some of them don't, but it's very rare. Yeah. And then after the honeymoon phase, they basically move in. So they go back to regular life. They go back to their cities, and they are camping in together. And I think for like 2 months, they're doing this. Right. And that's where all the drama comes in. Because by the time the seasons end, you have to walk to the altar. Yep. And you have to say yes or no at the altar. I don't know contractually how that works, but most of them make it to the altar, the wedding day, what they call the wedding day or the last episode before the reunion. Some of them don't, but yeah, most of them do. But in between the wedding day and them coming off vacation, you meet the parents, drama central. You get back to social media, so you get your phone back. You don't have the phone on vacation. Right. So you get your phone back, drama. You get back to work, especially this drama. You get the phone back, drama. You get back to your family and sisters, drama. All the sisters was causing mayhem this season. I don't know what it was with the sisters. It was something like that. But drama. And then by the time you get to wedding day, as a viewer, you're basically betting on the ones that will say yes and continue the relationship. There's some couples who say no to the marriage but decide to stay together after the show is done. Right. And then the couples who say no, they completely just separate. There is no going back to each other. There's no relationship.
Well, sometimes, because even with this episode that we're about to break down to a certain degree, we've definitely seen situations where the couples break up. And then we hear in the reunion, because it's a reunion show. Yes. When the reunion show, you come to find out some of these couples got back together or spent some time together, and then they break up again. And well, that's what the couple that you're talking about. They did say they wanted to work out after the show, but then they said that they tried it and it just didn't work. Yeah. So they'll say no to the altar and then try to talk behind the scenes to see if they want the relationship to last or not. Right. But should we talk about success rate? Success rate is not good. Yo, success rate of going to the marriage. Yes, success rate of saying yes at the altar. And then, mind you, it's saying yes, and the reunion is a year later after the season is finished. Right. Presumably. So for this season, it was. I believe that, but right. Well, that's what they say in production, so we have to take it for that. Right. But the reunion happens a year after the wedding day, which is the last episode, technically, of the season. And you get to see even if the couple who said yes at the altar is still together. This is where the bets come in as viewers, where it's just like, okay, like, who do you think is together? Who do you think did this? They might as well start doing live voting. You might as well just start making it interactive at this point. Because that's what it's become. But that's the premise in a nutshell, though. So you have the wall, which is where they don't know each other, but they're just getting to know each other for 2 weeks. Then you have them proposing. Then you have vacation. Then you have 2 months of real life. And then you have marriage. And after marriage, you have the reunion a year later. That has been the... How much it was that simple? This show is like when the horse breaks free. Sorry.
This show has been without a horse in a while. It's been
Listen,
but that's just the premise. We just breaking down the premise for all the people who haven't seen it. For any of you who haven't seen it, but let's get into this season because
but before we get into the season, because we won't get into it, I just want to say this: the reason why we're breaking this down at length in such excruciating detail is because when I first watched Love Is Blind, right, it gave me a lot of hope as far as the show is concerned. Now, I'm a romantic. I'm a self-professed romantic. I love love. I love two people coming out of the woodwork and coming together and stuff like that. I believe in that premise.
Likewise.
You know what I'm saying? We're both romantics. We're both like that, right? And I feel like, okay, I understand. Not every show, especially if it's a reality show, is supposed to be squeaky clean, right? With the joy should come the tension. With the love should come the drama. That's what makes quote unquote good television. So I get it. But I felt like in the first set of seasons, I want to say from season 1 to season 3 of Love Is Blind, there was a healthy balance. It was like, okay, these people are here to actually find something, to find love, to find connection, their flawed selves. All of these things were starting to come together. By season 4, though, onwards, because what, we just finished season 8? Yo, this, I can't curse on this podcast, right? That's what we've agreed to, right? But Love Is Blind has become trash, bro. I just want to say that. For the most part, I'm not saying complete trash. You know, it's not completely unwatchable, but it's edging there because I feel like, man, and we're going to get deeper into these points, but I feel like a lot of these people are just here just to show up on TV. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Love Is Blind is one of the most popular, if not the most popular reality show on Netflix, right? When there's watch parties for Love Is Blind, there's reactions. This is a reaction to Love Is Blind, right? Inadvertently, right? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like audience around this show. And with audience comes fame. With fame comes shenanigans. Because nowadays, if you watch any type of social media or anything that deals with pop cultures, people are desperate to be famous by any means necessary. If I have to make a fool of myself to be famous so I can get the proverbial bag, I will do it. These guys have no scruples. You know what I'm saying? Because you can watch this stuff and be like, yo, either you were here just to be seen or you don't have emotional intelligence. Like, yo, how could you not discuss certain things in the pod or discuss certain things in the pod, but then it becomes an issue going. I feel like I'm giving away too much. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We can see how season 8 got heated. Yeah, season 8 got hated. And honestly, even on a more serious side note, it might even become legal. So we're gonna touch bases into these things. Okay. But let's get these couple. Yeah, let's get some basic stuff down. Okay. So what we're gonna go into season 8, guys. So this is not retroactive. We're starting from the season that was this year. Yes, because as he said, it has. You know, that's a common sentiment, by the way, that the quality has gone downhill. The premise that was once so beloved is now being filled with reality TV shenanigans. So, yes, this is a common. This is definitely a common opinion. Yes, and this is a common complaint that's coming across the viewership, and it's even getting a little bit more troublesome as we might have to touch on season 7 a little bit too, because season 7 was the one that completely jumped the shark. Yes, this one was a little better. I think production was a little better, but now that everyone's kind of coming out and doing their detective thing, it even goes as deep as the producers not vetting the contestants correctly and to like some very extreme oversight, like, or I should say undersight, some extreme undersight. Like they did not do their due diligence into these contestants. But let's get into season 8, ladies and gentlemen. So there were how many couples, how many singles? How do you want to do this? All right, so according to, because I'm literally on their IG right now as I'm looking at the phone, there were 18, I think, singles. 18. Okay. Let's see, what's this? How many of these? Okay. Ooh, no. According to this is like 8 slides with 4 people, so they're like 32 singles.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, right? So I can talk. Let's. Should I just name the ones who ended up being contestants?
Yes. Okay, so out of 32 singles, these are the ones who made it out the pods.
Right.
Okay,
so
or out, that's the wall. So when we say out of the pods, it means that they made it to the proposal and they're engaged.
Right, or at least we saw them at that, because some of them probably didn't make out the pods, but
they got together. Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna name them. Right. So Daniel was one of them. Virginia was another one. Let's see. Madison was another one. Joey was another one. I'll match them up later. Let's see. Sarah was another one. Devin, another one. Dave, Taylor. Those were definitely contestants in there. Molly was in there. Ben was in there. Brittany was a face that definitely came up. Let's see. Madison. Who else? Lauren. Yep, Lauren was there too. Alex, Monica. Let's see. Meg was also there as well. Is that it? Yeah, because the rest of these 3 here, we barely saw them. Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't know how many names I called, but those were the people. Now, the ones who coupled up.
If you go on Google Lovely, they'll show you. So if you look at season 8 couples on Google, they'll give you all the names.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because there's like a thread or a forum. Yeah. There's a forum that that literally updates you as they're going through the couples, because someone made a website, because again, we're all fans of the show, or were fans of the show.
Okay. Well, as I'm doing this, I do know one couple that we could start talking about, because they're at the top of my brain.
Oh, okay. So
Virginia and Devin.
Where do we begin with Virginia and Devin? Virginia and Devin was. Oh, where do we start with them?
Your first impression.
Insert picture here. Picture of them right here.
Mm-hmm.
What do we say about Virginia and Devin? So, initial first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think they were the appropriately matched couple. I thought that Devin and Brittany, or maybe I'm forgetting her name, but it was another woman in the pods that Devin was a coach. He's a football coach, I believe, or he's a basketball coach. And there was another woman that was in the pods who was also a basketball coach. Mm-hmm. They would play ball together, and that was Brittany, right? That was Brittany. So yes. And I thought they were definitely more compatible than anything him and Virginia were.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what made him change his mind. I think...
Oh, I know. I could fill that in. Mm-hmm. So it was a situation in the pods where Devin ended up sharing his heart with both of them, Brittany and Virginia, about struggles he had when he was playing basketball professionally. He got injured, and then he had to take certain drugs to get over the pain, and he became somewhat addicted to them, and it was a very hard time in his life. He was tearful, he was emotional, he was all the feels, right? And he shared it with both Brittany and Virginia. I felt like Brittany was a little bit more empathetic in that situation than Virginia was. Not saying that Virginia didn't feel anything, but I felt like it wasn't an exchange of transparency of a hard time. Mm-hmm. I felt like Devin shared, and Virginia was like, "I feel so bad for you. Mm-hmm. I feel so bad for you. I'm so sorry." But we never got any type of vulnerability
from her.
The only thing she said was like, "Yo, I need a person who will pray for me and be there for me." So does everybody.
Right.
But that was it. But the problem with Brittany was that when Brittany shared her truth, her vulnerable moment, as far as her past relationships, which involved same-sex relationships, that's where it turned off of that. That's where he was, because again, and I don't know if most guys or all guys go through this, but I think Devin, if I'm to make an educated guess as a guy, Devin just felt, I think Devin's fear was that, hey, would a woman come back on the scene and potentially break them up? because one of the questions he kept asking was, are you still attracted to women? Are women relationships or female same-sex relationships still a thing for you? Because I felt like maybe he saw it as a perceived possible threat to his manhood or the bond that they put together. You know what I'm saying? Because she kept saying, hey, man, it was a one time. It was a thing. I'm here for love. I'm here for a heterosexual relationship, blah, 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 blah. And Devin couldn't get past it.
Anybody who likes fun has done it before. At least once. But, yeah. I think that was a flaw to Devin's. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. But I think that was more so a flaw to Devin, because for someone to be vulnerable and say, hey, listen, this is what I was going through. And she was sharing her experience in order to say, oh, I've had heartbreak too. Right. And I don't trust people in relationships, whether they be same sex or not, because of this. It was definitely a mismatch. And I'm going to segue into Virginia and Devin now. Virginia. Girl. So there was this.
When you start with girl. Yeah, no.
I love all my sisters. When I tell you there's a very concerning lack of empathy from Virginia that I picked up immediately in the pods. And it was when Devin had his breakthrough. So thank you for reminding me, because I was wondering where it was. She comes off very, I won't do this for you, but I need you to do this for me. And that lack of reciprocity is very, in number one, in a relationship, it doesn't work out no matter what. No. Lack of reciprocity is like the recipe for disaster in a relationship. But Devin, and this is where we're going into the reveal. So the reveal, the proposal, is that you see in the pods that there's something missing, it's something off. Maybe it's the lack of like feelings in her eyes. Like I was looking at her eyes a lot. Her eyes were completely dull a lot. She was doing like this side tilt thing where she was like trying to understand, but you could kind of see her dainty, not understand. Yeah, because you could even be that way. But in terms of her facial features, it was almost like she couldn't feel. It was almost like there was something that was blocking her, and maybe that's trauma, maybe that's something else. So we get to her, and a little background on Virginia.
Pretty vacant.
Yes, thank you. Very vacant, very expressionless too. Like she doesn't like emote a lot. So you see how JJ and I get very like, wah. Like there was nothing like that. Right. She tries to stay very composed. She tries to stay very put together, and it comes across very robotic. Yeah. So a little bit of Virginia's backstory. She was an ex-NBA dancer. Right. And now she was going to school, I believe, for nursing. Believe so. I believe so. Yeah. So she switched careers. And in her profile, she said that she was trying to get away from the man that would be stereotypically her type. Yep. So if you know a little background about the NBA and athletes, we already know what those relationships look like. So she's trying to get away from that. Those relationships are some of the most bait relationships you'll ever see. You'll see the tall, athletic man with the pretty cheerleader girlfriend. That's basically what it comes down to. And listen, that can work. Yes. And those relationships, listen, I've seen shows, there's shows where it's like, speaking of Netflix, there's a show I watched called Quarterback and Wide Receiver. It's basically about the lives of football players and their wives and relationships. And I've definitely seen some quote unquote very aesthetically beautiful people come together, but you can tell that there is a synergy there. You can tell that George Kittle from the 49ers and his wife, they are a team. They are into each other. They are, and not even just from the physical standpoint, but just kind of like understand what the teamwork and the mission is. So yeah, those are things that, even though it may look away, aren't necessarily vain. But from tabloids, anything shade roomish, you know what I'm saying? You can tell that a lot of people just want to be seen with the right person. It's almost like their agent said, you know what? You would be a great match image with this person. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And let's not forget the OG, which is Basketball Wives. Basketball Wives was the first look in to what that was like. And again, just like Premise, amazing premise. We all want to know what's going on behind the scenes of athletes, and like these are their real families there, and they're promising to tell their real stories. When I tell you it did the same thing, which all realities, I think this is called the reality curse is what we were talking about.
Right.
It just goes completely downhill. It turns into drama fest. These girls is spilling drinks on each other.
They're fighting.
Catting each other. It gets ridiculous.
Crazy about each other. And that's
ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. And especially for it to be public. So, segueing back to Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia says that she wants to get away from that type of men. Reveal comes. So she's already kind of lacking empathy. She already has a vacant expression. Mm-hmm. We can see Devin is more emotional. He's definitely more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Very clear on what he looks for and what he's liking and what he's into.
And I'm going to ask you your opinion, but I'm going to get here.
Yeah.
I saw them doomed from the reveal. I'm going to tell you why. Mm-hmm. Virginia came out to him, and you can see she was very disappointed in his looks. There were certain cues that she was giving with her face, like not looking at him directly, hugging him versus kissing him, which some of the couples do after just like, wow, we bonded for so long. If we bonded emotionally, what is a kiss?
Right.
When we finally meet each other.
Right.
She swayed the kiss. She didn't want to kiss him. But now on the opposite side, you have Devin, who looks like a deer. Like he ain't never been with someone who he thought was more beautiful in his life. And he ran to her and he's just like, oh my gosh. He talked about every physical attribute. So I'm gonna tell you after your opinion why I felt like that was their downfall. So she does not see him as attractive whatsoever. They don't even kiss on the bench. They don't even do that.
Not at why too.
And then Devin is complimenting her all the time. So from that, I'll get into a deeper opinion, but I want yours. What's the initial one? From that part, I knew that they wouldn't make it.
Guys, I want to tell you all something, right? There's a thing called transfer of energy, right? If it's one-sided, it's not a good look. If you are the person that's always telling the other person, whether asked for or involuntarily, about what's going on in your life, how you feel about things, and you're being expressive and vulnerable and sharing, maybe even to the point of oversharing, and they're not giving you anything, it's not a good look. So with that being said, going back to what Ari just mentioned, if you're complimenting a sister, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, wow, you look, and she's giving you nothing, no, it's no good.
She gave the suit. She was like, oh, this is a nice suit.
Don't buy it. It's like, listen, it's just pure human nature. If you find each other attractive, you're going to say it to each other. You're going to feel it. It's going to engulf the room. Perfect example, because I got to bring up the OG couple, the OG Love is Blind couple, Lauren and Cameron. When they saw each other on season 1, in fact, they got to it so fast, they've met each other on season 1, episode 1. They were like, yo, we are destined. We are like on a collision course to be together. And they're still together to this day. They got their own podcast and everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, Cameron's stunned. Oh my God. Chocolate, gorgeous. Wow. You know what I'm saying? She's like mystified. Oh my God,
Prince.
she looks just like a prince.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Kissing. Oh man, you can feel it in the room.
Oh yeah, they might have had to turn off the cameras for that one. They were just like, we can't get to the honeymoon suite fast enough. Yes.
And of course, there've been other couples that have been similar in games.
Yes,
but
very true.
Devin and Virginia, nah. Yeah, she looked beautiful. She looked great in the pinkish dress, whatever. He came through fly, whatever. But it was just something off. He was into it. I mean, Virginia is a beautiful woman, but. And I'm not saying that, obviously you'd be a better judge because, I'm not attracted to guys, but it's just like, but at the same time, it's like, I felt like Devin came through right.
No, yeah, like, I don't find there's anything, thing about saying like, he's a good looking brother, whether you say it as a guy or a woman, he's a good looking guy.
But whether we feel that way, doesn't mean it's a shared opinion.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody be like, oh, he's great looking. And then somebody might be like, oh, nah.
That's because beauty is subjective. And it's subjective,
so
for sure.
In her eyes, she was beholding something she wasn't into because she was looking straight ahead. She was.
It was bad.
The one thing that Ari mentioned, which she's going to break down even further, is the fact that she was doing double speak vocally and physically. Claire, to explain that one?
Yes. So it was just like what I was mentioning before with the cues. So just touching on what Conquest said. So he's complimenting her physical beauty, right? Like, wow, your eyes, your lips, your hair, your skin, you're gorgeous, and she's just like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I like your suit. And you can see.
She even said, I wish she said that.
No, she said, your suit is cute.
It's a nice suit.
Yeah, she said, your suit is cute. It's almost like you can hear the meaning of it. You know, like, oh yeah, like, thank you for complimenting me, but I don't have anything for you. Your suit's cute. I don't think we're supposed to make it out of the pots. I don't think they were supposed to make it. So this is where the fallacies come in. And then I guess, if you couldn't tell by now, they didn't make it. But so we don't have to go past the pods. We already kind of leaked the ending of it. Virginia basically is not, and this is what my conclusion was to them. Virginia was not ready to go past her type. I think, like, I give all people the benefit of the doubt. I think she might have went in with good intentions. Maybe this was the show that she thought would break her from that. And it wasn't the show, because she got someone who she might not have thought was physically attractive, but you guys bonded. So the emotions are supposed to speak more. She wasn't ready for that. Devin fell in the opposite way, to where because all he could see was physical beauty, he couldn't see the red flags of her. Like, yo, she's really not digging. She hasn't looked in your eyes once. She's not digging. You can feel the energy is off. You can feel it. You can feel it through the screen. So I can only imagine what it was like when they're sitting closer to me and Conquest are sitting right now. So they're sitting close and he's looking at her and he can say, he's like, yeah, like, you're not saying, and he's almost questioning himself, right? Like, he's like, yeah, you're not saying anything. Like, what? Well, I'm just going to keep complimenting you. And then he did I call it the sin of dating. He did the overshare. So he started thanking her for letting him be open in the pods and letting him share his story with her, because she wasn't giving him any feedback at all.
And that's none. And that is a telltale sign, right? Because definitely we've all been victim. I know I've been victim of that. It's just like you're almost like filling the gaps, because it's like as a guy, overshare. I can tell you what it is. It's like I've been in situations like that before, and I know that I've done that because it's more than oversharing. It's like in your mind, you're like, you want to confirm in your mind that, hey, I gave her every opportunity to share her heart, to be contrite, to go there with me. But at some point you realize, nah, she's not giving me anything, because the thing that you could use is that, hey, because usually these things come back and turn into arguments and gaslighting. It's like, you never said, no, I shared this, that, and the third. I told you about this, that, and the third. You gave me nothing. Yeah. What did you say that complements this, that, and the third? Because so oftentimes it's like you're sharing, but part of you is like, maybe if I share some more, maybe you'll come out of your shell.
Yes.
Maybe you'll feel safe enough to come out and peek out of your shell and see what's up. And that's what often happens. So I'm sure part of it was just like, hey, I want to thank you for like shit. He said it, like sharing stuff. And what I'm sure he was probably hoping in his deep subconscious was like, maybe she would return that. It's like, yo, man, no, thank you.
But this is why I said the oversharing is something that's a red flag, because I agree with you. The word that came to me with Virginia is stonewalling. So she basically shut down. Like, you can kind of see it in her face and everything like that. I don't know if her personality is that way, but we'll fast forward to the reunion after this. Do you think that's a good idea? Okay. So, because will not bore you guys with the details of vacation and everything.
We can break this down. It didn't last.
The prenup thing is something we will address.
We need to hit that.
Yes, but she stonewalled basically. And what I meant by the oversharing is that red flag. If you can't return a physical compliment, you're not going to return vulnerability. Physical compliments are very surface level.
Yeah.
To say, oh, I love your eyes. I love your smile. I love the way that your glasses look. Mm-hmm. I like your ears and the way they perk. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's easy to return. Then this is where Devin was trying to almost reach out to her. Mm-hmm. It's like, she's not worth that yet. She's not worth that energy because she's not even returning the physical yet.
All right, so, this is turning into a relationship podcast. I think, to be honest, because I know we're breaking down details about a show, but this is beyond that. This is deprogramming right here, right? Because you may not even really care about the show. We're coaching. We're trying to help y'all as people who have been in relationships where they've been successful and failed and been victims,
and that's when you learn from it. Yeah,
because these things gave me traumatic events. But go on.
I'm there with you.
This is a relationship podcast.
This is a relationship.
This is what it is.
So, yeah, Devin, I wish would have not put himself out there when it was obvious. Again, I know I've been victims to this before. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to want to give. And then when I look back at myself, I was like, wow, I was oversharing. I was overreaching, trying to grab that person when it's their responsibility and their duty to reach to me.
Yeah.
You already could tell when someone's open to you. You can tell when you sit down with energy, like, wow, like they really trust me.
Yeah.
If you are not trusting me in return, then there's something wrong with that person. And it's not my responsibility to find out what's wrong with that person. They have to come to me.
Yep.
So that's Virginia and Devin at the pods. Mm-hmm. Red flags immediately go up for me. Mm-hmm. They're not going to make it. Mm-hmm. One thing we're going to touch on during the dating. Conquest, let's go. What does this girl decide to do in the middle of everything? So mind you, the attraction is not there. Mm-hmm. On vacation, it's not there. And that's when it gets more intimate. So more of the couples, you know, they sleep in the same bed together for the first time. Right. They are touchy-feely.
Right. Some go
even there. Then, nothing. I would say a kiss or two in the hot tub, right?
Yeah.
And that was listen, guys, if you guys saw that scene.
Watch that scene.
Conquest and I watched it together. I remember I asked Conquest, I was like, how does he look? Do you remember how Devin looked in the hot tub?
Listen, man.
As a man. Tell me that.
Devin was ready to go.
He was revved up.
Ready to go, man. It's like, yo,
key in the ignition.
I'm in the water with this.
Fresh out the kitchen.
You know what I'm saying? All the feels, all the blood going through the veins, all of it. You know what I'm saying? I was just giving the buck, right? And she is just like the most intentional she was dipping her hair in the pool and making sure it come back out wet. That's pretty much what it was. You know what I'm saying?
She was doing the shoot.
There was no sense. Listen again. When you seeing what it looks like when two people are into each other, that wasn't it.
That was not awkward. It.
You know what I'm saying?
So this is vacation, and I don't think did she bring up a vacation? I think she brought up her thoughts, but it's not until they got back into civilian life that she actually printed it. So please talk to them about that, because this is where it's like if attraction ain't there, I don't even know what this was, but apparently it was drama.
So you had mentioned something about her looking to find love and do something different, and I think you were saying it from a reporter's sense, in the sense that that's what she told us. Mm-hmm. I have a very strong feeling, and I know you have a strong feeling, that Virginia wasn't here for love in the first place. Mm-hmm. Because, well, she brought up a prenup. Right?
Yep.
Now, granted, obviously prenups are things that are discussed before marriage, right? You don't necessarily show up the day of the wedding with a prenup. That's crazy. But she was very, 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 very insistent about this prenup. Mm-hmm. Now, the way that she shared the intention behind this prenup was very much like, hey, protection of assets, worst come to worst. I don't plan to take anything from you that you know what I'm saying, didn't come with, or whatever the case may be. It wasn't one of those things where it's like we get divorced and all of a sudden I get alimony, or I take half your stuff, or whatever the case may be, or in case of cheating, you know, it was very straightforward. Like, hey, if in worst case scenario, we break up, you go your way, I go my way, we leave with what we came with, type of thing. So on the surface, that sounds reasonable, right? But it's just the way that she did it, the way she presented it, it was almost like, this is the thing I'm most passionate about. You know when she showed passion? About this prenup. She was the most passionate and most direct about this prenup.
Yes.
Makes you think that, listen, because again, the way that she presented this thing, it seems like, okay, she seems reasonable, doesn't seem over the top. But it felt like, this is the thing that I'm most passionate about, because I am intent about the fact that this is not going to last. Right? Like, as soon as this is over, as far as we get married or whatever the case may be, this is a wrap. Which makes what happened at the altar even more bizarre. Right? Because you insist on this prenup. My man Devin was looking this thing up and down. You could see it in his eyes. He did not want to do this. He wasn't fooling with this. He was like, he had the deer in headlights, like, yo, man, we just getting married. We're trying to be together. You're thinking about prenup, but listen, if you want it so bad, I'll sign it. I'll have my lawyers look at it. I'll have my parents who wasn't with this look at it, and blah, 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 blah. But she was up for this prenup. Because again, I just feel like she would have done this with anybody. I don't care if she was attracted to the guy or not. She was going to do this because I feel like she wasn't here for what Devin was here for. I think she wanted to be seen. And I think maybe even just going through the relationship, because other things came up, I think her obsession with money really reared its head. For sure. Because there was something about her giving an explanation that the reason why the altar thing didn't happen was because Devin got a check from somebody.
From the boss.
From the boss. And she didn't clear it with him. You guys had a prenup.
No, yeah. It became very ugly. It became very ugly.
And destroyed.
I agree with the sentiment. It's just, I believe in benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to say that I want to believe she did come in with good intentions. The minute she saw Devin, she went back to her old self. That whole experiment process was over.
Maybe I can buy that.
The prenup, to me, and this is where I've gotten with Love is Blind as a whole, their whole storyline seems very scripted to me.
Yeah.
Because if Virginia wasn't in it, this is where I come in with you and saying that I think she saw opportunity after she knew she wouldn't be with him. Yeah. And I think she dragged it out for the attention. That's my belief. Mm-hmm. There's a couple flags that say this. Number one, like I said, the physical attraction was not there, and she shut down immediately. Mm-hmm. So there was no deeper conversations. Every conversation they had after that was prenup. Every single one.
One more thing I want to add on that prenup thing. The one thing that you got to give Devin had a plan. Devin had a understanding of what his life was going to look like.
His career.
His career. Yes. He was going to do this, then he was going to do this.
I can break that down. He said he was going to be, he was a coach right now in basketball. Mm-hmm. He said his intention was to become a head coach and to start his own program and to basically sell it nationwide. So if anyone knows what that career is like, you end up making a lot of money, but you have to be very passionate about it because you're dealing with kids all the time and you're dealing with kids' parents. So that's a very delicate field. He had a very executed plan, and I would know this because I'm also dating a assistant head coach of a high school, and it's the same career track to where you have to be very passionate about what you do. But man, when I tell you, the career track is rewarding. You are working with the kids, the school loves you, you become a community leader. Like, it's very, very rewarding. So he's saying, this is my path to riches. And the money is not really the goal, right? It's really the respect in that title. Right. Fine. Virginia says, I am trying to become a millionaire. And then when Devin, no, I'm gonna be Devin. And how do you expect to do that?
I'm gonna look at certain investments and make certain investments and do certain stocks. And I don't even think she said all that, but she said investments. Investments.
I wish we were making this up, guys. We're really not. Right. Please go back to please go on Netflix and see it. He had such a elaborate answer for her. And then she said, yeah, how are you going to be a millionaire? She was just like, oh, investments. Reciprocity again. For as open as I'm being with you, you're giving me the most shallow answer that you can give anybody. Right. You can tell a stranger that you're going to become a millionaire over investments.
What kind of investments? What have you studied? Who are you linking with as far as like
network and
who's your network?
What ideas? What stock are you in? What industries are you invested in? Just different things like that. No,
have you
she's
tried
just
it before?
Stonewall. She is Stonewall. But the prenup, like Conquest said, was the most passionate thing you ever got from her, ever. And then we're gonna talk about crocodile tears. She gave the tears. She gave the tears when she was in that wedding dress. I wasn't buying it for 1 second. She's like, I really love Devin. I really do. And I'm like,
no, you love the idea of Devin. You love the idea of being in the wedding. You love the idea of being.
I think at that point, this is where my benefit of the doubt starts doing it for her. I think at that point, she's selling the story.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to look like the bad guy, which again, I haven't been on a production of that magnitude. Maybe there is a pressure to not come across like, like we all go inward and try to see if we're the villain or the hero of a story. And it's just like, once you kind of know what side you're falling on, I can only imagine under these lights and cameras, if you don't try to save yourself, save your image, save whatever's left of what can be salvaged.
Right.
And I think that was a love story for her. It's like, okay, if I come across as this, hey, listen, you're not attractive to me, I don't care about your money game, and I'm gonna leave. I don't think she was ready for that backlash that would have came. So she played that narrative to, oh no, I really love Devin. I really love Devin. I really love Devin. When there's so many telltale signs that you don't. There's so many telltale signs that you are not reciprocal. Right. You are not vulnerable. You are not opening up to this man. You are not being honest with him. You don't even like him like that.
Right.
Why are you pushing this? And the only thing I can think of is self-preservation.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it in the reunion, because obviously they always have the reunion.
Yes. So let's go to the reunion of them.
Yeah. So the reunion, to your point, we're not buying it. Even though she's bringing up stuff like, obviously, the check that she didn't know about.
Which Devin had a great answer for.
But then, which was even more bizarre, and again, we see all this passion now, fake or real, whatever you want to term it, is when, something about finding a letter from a friend that's an ex who wasn't really an ex on the nightstand. Somebody he been cool with, like,
his best friend, one of his best friends.
Like, there is not even an inkling of romance in this situation, and you're making this
She's
a big
looking
deal.
For the out. You could tell she was fishing for the out.
And she was looking for another way to not look like
the villain.
Bad guy.
Yes, absolutely.
And what's the easiest way to make men look like the bad guy? Oh, there's another woman.
Yes, that's very true. Oh, no. And then she even got behind, which... We'll get into this a little bit with the other couple, because I think we should do 3, and let me know if you agree. I think we should do the one that got 3 more. Okay. We should do the ones that got married.
Yeah.
We won't spoil it for you guys. The one that got married, the one where the sister was involved, and the one with the church guy.
Yeah.
And the LGBT.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So those 3, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tie this into the LGBT thing. She also said at the reunion.
Oh, God, yeah, she did.
And this is I used to get very passionate about it. Now I understand where this comes from with people. It's like you said, it's the out and not wanting to villainize yourself. But I'd rather people be authentic in what they feel. She blames LGBTQ as to why they don't work. She blames...
Never came up in conversations.
Never came up in conversations. And she's not the only one. So I don't like this gaslight social issue thing where people come in and rather than them say, hey, listen, I don't like you, they tell you all the reasons you're wrong.
Right.
For them.
Right.
But it's the most shallow issue. Nothing. It has nothing to do with the relationship at hand. Mm-mm. So they're not an LGBTQIA couple. Devin and Virginia are not that. They're not in that group. For some reason, his opinions about that does not make her want to be with him. Then it goes to the $1,000 thing from the boss, which Devin then debates and says, well, you had to sign a prenup and my mother's boss gave that to us. So if you're not going to say yes at the altar, that's not your money. That's my money because it came from my side. Logical argument. She didn't want to hear it. Then she said, oh, well, I was trying to save this from off camera, but there was a time where I saw a letter from the ex on his nightstand. So, we're all scratching our heads and we're just like, well, wait, what? And like you said, it's just like, well, why would she bring up the other woman now? You have already made him look bad. Like and this is where I was telling you about not seeing past yourself. You didn't have to do this man like this. You already embarrassed him. You already embarrassed him.
Right.
He was crying with him and his mother. Her father came over and told him what a good man.
Virginia's father.
Yes, Virginia's father came over and said how much Devin was a good man. That's how heartbroken he was at the altar. You already embarrassed him. You did not have to go to the lengths of what you did to make yourself look better. You didn't have to do that. You could just say, hey, I'm sorry things didn't work out and I'm done.
That's it.
You didn't have to say anything more in the reunion. She brings up the letter and she said, oh, I got a letter from an ex and a third. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, and I don't know if you noticed this. She said she read the letter. She said, I saw the letter, I read the letter, right? You notice that he said, oh, well, if you looked at the context of the letter, it was nothing but talking good things about you and how happy she was for me that I found you. So what's the point of bringing up the letter from the ex if in the context of the letter it's talking about you and that person?
What's the point?
That's not his ex. That's his best friend. So, again, why are you going to these lengths to embarrass and thrash this man? And this is the only thing I can come to. It's self-preservation at this point. It's like, I know I look bad. I feel bad. But rather than me take that on, I need to make that person look worse.
Yeah.
I need to make that person look worse. That, to me, is very manipulative.